prosecution outlined how accounting practices
fuck?
of Conley
What?
Productions did not
What kind of likeness is that?
procedure.
If they were great artists, they'll be in a museum.
Evidence today may signal at least one
You fucking father for cartoonists now?
And welcome back to another episode of Gutter Boys. Gutter Boys episode 43. Gutter Boys, I'm going to fuck this up, but is a small press podcast that focuses on the ins and the outs and the highs and the lows of small press comics. Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm your host, Cam, here with my co-host, JB. We are back. On the back half, we'll be joined by special guest cartoonist and child prodigy Jasper Jubenvil. But before that, we're going to do our thing here and just address the nation of the Gutter Gang and talk a little bit about some comic news.
Yeah, so there's actually been a lot going on this week and last for some reason. I don't know why. Because we get lulls, right? Like there's periods where just nothing is happening for weeks.
Yeah.
And then suddenly just this cornucopia of news. And so we're very blessed. We're thankful. We love content. We know you love content. So let's get ready. So comic news, the first thing we want to address. What do we want to address, Cam? Actually, I think about it. What story did you want to cover first?
Well, you want to talk about Keanu first? Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, so Keanu Reeves, if you've listened to the show, we talked about it some last year, but Boom Studios put together a comic using Keanu Reeves' likeness called Berserker, but it's spelled without the vowels, so it's like B-R-Z, you get the point. But in addition to a highly successful Kickstarter that Boom passed the buck on to the customers with, the sales figures for Diamond's direct orders of this comic have come out, and they are pretty hefty. Boom was able to move 615,000 copies of this comic with Keanu's likeness in it, and that was to the direct market, not including all the backers on the Kickstarter. This is pretty crazy because, just to put it in perspective, last year's highest selling comic was Crossover by fellow Chiba Hawk Donny Cates.
The Chiba Hawk.
And apparently the figures on this book with Keanu Reeves outsold Donnie's book by 4 times. They were saying the last time a comic had this much traction was when Marvel did the Spider-Man reboot 5 years ago. They moved 1 million, and before that, Jim Lee moved 1 million of Wildcats #1. So these are some pretty fucking crazy numbers. Do you think this is indicative of the market?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't really make heads or tails of this because I personally don't know anyone that was interested in this book.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about like comic creators or distros or publishers or whatever. I'm talking about just like general people across the board. I have not heard a single peep about this book in terms of like people wanting it or owning it or being excited about it. So I don't really know where these numbers are coming from other than maybe some shady practices on the business side, allegedly, but also it's Keanu Reeves. So
yeah,
like everyone's grandma will fucking pick this up. So I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't understand it.
And they're doing things to like pump up the numbers. Like there's a lot of exclusive variant covers, of course, because that's just like the name of the game now, where there's at least, 20 fucking variants of every book. But apparently there's like a signed Keanu Reeves version, but the only way a store can get it is if they order 1,000 copies. So it's like one of those 1 in 1,000 variants. I would like to think that, comic shops aren't simping so hard that they order 1,000 books that are going to end up in their dollar bins just to get a sign. They
absolutely are.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. So, I mean, I don't really think this is a good read of the market. I think it is going to sell a lot of copies, but I think that this isn't going to, do anything for comics. This is just like, capturing lightning in a bottle that Keanu's hot again and, just having the idea first to use his likeness before another company could.
Here's my takeaway of this is that if anything, this is a very bad sign for comics.
Yeah.
Like I get that having these numbers are good in the short term, but let's look back at the early 90s, right? Like right before the industry as a whole pretty much collapsed in on itself. You'll take a look at those numbers and they were doing numbers like 600 or what was it? 60,000? 600,000?
It was 615,000.
Okay, 615,000. We're gawking at that number. But what was X-Men doing in the 90s?
Well, Jim Lee's first issue was a million copies, like over a million, I'm pretty sure.
Right, and that was at the peak of retailer incentives, right? All these stupid gimmicky covers just to get more comic shops to order them. And what happened?
Yeah, it imploded the market, yeah.
Right, so if they're doing that many issues, like right before the bubble burst,
yeah,
and this Keanu book is only doing like, what, 3/4 of that at most, I see that as a very bad sign. That's not good. That means we are in for some pain real soon.
And it's going to be interesting to see what the drop-off is to issue 2. There's always a drop-off with every subsequent issue that comes out in a comic, and I'm just wondering, if this is going to sustain even half of those numbers, because I have a feeling like it won't. I think it'll drop to like 80,000.
No, abso-fucking-lutely not.
Yeah.
They'll be lucky if they hit half of that number.
Yeah, absolutely. So, they made their money, so the biggest takeaway from this is, boom, I don't want to hear about you all fucking shortchanging artists anymore.
But you will.
You will, yeah, but...
You will.
We fucking see you. Just want to let you know.
Yeah. So, I get why people are hyping it up as a good thing, but this is not good. Like, this is not
at
all.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's move on to something else that is not good in comics: racism.
Oh yeah, and not even any kind of racism. Not like living in 2021 and we have black people still getting killed by cops, especially kids now. I guess it's cool to just mace kids and tape it.
So sick.
But anyway,
what's his name? Joe Bennett.
We're talking about old timey your grandpa's racism. You know what I mean? Like racism classic.
Vintage racism.
Yeah, exactly. So this story came out a couple days ago from when we were recording this, and Marvel caught some heat for a particular issue of Hulk. In this book, I believe it's the same run that is being written by the Ewing run,
the famous
which
one.
has been very popular.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's praised for being one of the best Hulk runs in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read it, but it has been recommended to me.
I read the first 2 trades and they were really good. It was like monster horror shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of body horror stuff. I'm all for that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So in this recent issue, there is a particular panel where characters are talking to each other inside a jewelry store. So it's pretty mundane. Nothing crazy. The only problem is that the front window of the jewelry store, one, has a giant Star of David on it. Okay. All right. And then the second is the store is called Cronenberg's.
Yeah, obviously a Jewish last name.
Right. Well, it's actually a misspelling of Cronenberg.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get into that here quickly because it'll come back up. And then lastly, and probably the funniest part of this whole thing, is that the spelling of jewelry is missing a letter that really does change up the word quite a bit.
Yeah, so in the window, like the panel composition is a guy is talking to the jewelry store clerk at like the counter, and in the background you see the front window.
Right, so it's in reverse. You're seeing the other side of, this window display, and by some magical means didn't include the L. So instead of jewelry, it says Jewery.
With the giant Star of David underneath.
With the giant Star of David called Cronenberg's Jewery. So you see that, like, let's say hypothetically you picked up that issue and you're flipping through it and you come across that panel and you're like, that's something. Wonder how that happened. Because keep in mind, this script and then the final issue, it went through many passes. Mm-hmm. Like multiple editors read this issue and said, yes, let's print it across the country. Let's go, guys. And then, shortly thereafter, somebody notices this and started tweeting about it saying, hey, maybe don't make a jewelry store with a Star of David on it that says Jewery. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah. Well, the best part about the tweet that went, viral about it was they were snitch tagging the post with @CB Cebulski. So
right.
They were tweeting
the head editor at Marvel.
The head editor who also, as documented on this show, changed his ethnicity and racial background to write comics. So
yeah. AKA the Grand Master Akira Yoshida.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Looking at this, I don't see how anyone that works at Marvel could have seen this and been like, this is fine.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even though on our last episode, Daniel was talking about how, like, the editors, like, made him change the color of Batman's drink. I know that's DC and not Marvel, but I mean, that kind of gives you, like...
Yeah, they're really paying attention to this shit.
Yeah, it gives you a heads up.
That's their job. That's literally their one job.
Yeah, so, like, it is kind of wild that this got missed.
Yeah, so it's either one of two things. Either the editors don't care, or they do care and thought this was cool.
Yeah.
Both routes, not good. Not good at all for Marvel.
And both believable.
And also both believable. Right,
yeah.
right. Considering. Yeah, right. So a lot of people went on Twitter, obviously a little bothered by this. The artist, Joe Bennett, who was responsible for this wonderful piece of media, it came out that he's also a little transphobic, just a little bit, just a teensy weensy bit. Now keep in mind, this is not the first time Marvel has been outed for overlooking some strong politics.
Wasn't there like some kind of racism in an X-Men book recently?
Yes. Now,
Okay.
Granted, that took a lot of investigating, to be honest. If you're an American comic book reader and you saw that, it would have flown right over your head.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because it had something to do with numbers relating to verse in the Quran, QS 551, which states, "O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and the Christians as allies. They are in fact allies of another, and whoever is an ally to them amongst you, then indeed he is one of them. Indeed, Allah guides not to the wrongdoing people."
Oh, okay.
So that artist, who I believe is an Indonesian artist that was responsible for that, they got kicked off the book.
Yeah.
They still work, though. I mean, they're still actively being hired for work, so it didn't really affect them at all. But also, it was really esoteric. So it showed that there was intention there, but they also went out of their way to hide it for the general audience.
Yeah.
So when this blew up, I believe it was Comics XF that reached out to Marvel to comment on this. Joe Bennett replied with a statement saying, quote unquote, "I've been including references to famous horror directors to pay respects to the genre throughout the series, and in Immortal Hulk number 43, I included a nod to David Cronenberg. The misspellings on the window were an honest but terrible mistake, and since I was writing backwards, I accidentally spelled both of these words wrong. I have no excuse for how I depicted the Star of David. I failed to understand this troubling and offensive stereotype, and after listening to you all, I understand my mistake. This was wrong, offensive, hurtful in many ways. This is a mistake I must own, and I am sorry to everyone who I hurt by this. I am working with Marvel to correct this, and I am using this lesson to reflect on how I approach my stories and my work." Okay, so a couple things here. We've seen these kinds of like public apology statements, and they're like almost 99% just bullshit. I mean, that's just how it goes. You save face, you keep your job, everybody goes on with their lives. Simple as that. So first off, calling the Jewish jewelry store Cronenberg's because he loves horror?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Holy shit. The mental gymnastics required in order to come up with that apology is truly beautiful. It is a thing of art, honestly. And then the whole, I didn't know what the Star of David meant. That's just a cherry on top. That's just a right on top there, just to add to this beautiful, beautiful apology. There's just, and so his explanation that, oh, like it was backwards, so that's why I misspelled both of those. Okay, I mean, sure,
yeah,
but then we take that, because that's just an isolated thing with the artist, right? Artists make mistakes on pages all the time, whether it be for continuity or minor things. And guess who's responsible for making sure that shit doesn't happen? Just take a wild fucking guess. It's the people that are paid more than the artists because they actually are full-time employees of the company.
Right.
And what did they do? They dropped the fucking ball.
Yeah,
like
straight up.
How many editors looked? I don't understand this. I really don't understand this.
Yeah, it's crazy that it slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, I would just love to hear a statement from these editors as to why this happened. Also, the response from other editors about this is hilarious because they're both like trying to be politically correct about it, right? So they're basically repeating what Joe Bennett said. It's like, oh, this is unfortunate. It's a really negative thing to see in comics. But, and then they go into this whole backpedaling thing about basically covering their ass, making sure they still have a job.
It was actually an homage.
Right, yeah. It's the same fucking shit that you see from all these bootlicking motherfuckers.
Right.
So, what'll happen from this? Probably nothing. Joe Bennett will still probably continue to get work from Marvel fairly regularly. The editors that clearly thought this was all right, they will continue to have jobs. Now, keep in mind, a couple months back, not even that long ago, Big Gleb, big friend of the show, amazing artist, who's currently working on the DC Robin book, he was under fire for criticizing someone's writing. That's it. That's it. He literally said, hey, maybe don't make a bunch of pages of just talking heads. That's it. That's all he said. It wasn't, hey, I think Jews, all the Jews with their gold own jewelry stores, so we should put Jewery on it with the Star of David. Like, it's just such a sharp contrast as to where the priority is with these companies. And it's so funny to me because nothing's going to happen, nothing will change, and this shit will just continue.
Yeah, it's...
And the same fucking losers that not only are okay with this, but continue doing the same shit over and over and over again will continue to be rewarded because that's the comic industry. You're not rewarded for being a good artist, for having a voice. You're rewarded for being a cog. You're rewarded for saying, yes, please. Yes, sir. Thank you for pissing in my mouth, sir. Thank you. That's your fucking job.
Yeah, go off.
So... yeah, the whole thing is very funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it is comedy gold.
It just reinforces the industry and what's, yeah.
Yeah, just like every horrible stereotype that you can think of about the comics and Marvel in general. But also, it's very funny.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm not even mad about it. I'm just, this is good to me because I think it's hilarious and I love laughing. So... keep it up, Marvel. That's my takeaway from all this. Like, shit, just keep doing this. You got this, Kings. You got this.
Yeah, just, perpetuate this, I don't even know what to call it, but yeah, keep doing your thing, guys.
Yeah, it is fucking wild to me. Especially when, like, this happening after the Big Gleb thing. I didn't even think about it in context of the Gleb thing, to be honest. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, so let me guess how many fucking editors chimed in, posting veiled threats to the artist, and like no one did that. No one. Right. But also is that the difference between working at Marvel and DC? Because DC does seem to care a little more than Marvel does. They both got their problems, but it seems like DC might be a better place than Marvel. I don't know. That's the vibe I get. They might just have better editors. Yeah. That might be it. They also pay better. So that, I don't know if this is like a revelation in the comics industry, but it turns out if you pay people more, they tend to do a better job. Right. So maybe that's why. I really don't know, but fuck me. And it doesn't help any that Ike Perlmutter is definitely a bigot. And definitely loves Trump, who, supported a white supremacist organization. I don't know. It's just at a certain point, where does like reality end and then the parody start? Like, I don't know anymore. It's too far gone, man. It's not for us, I think. I don't know who it's for. I don't. Yeah. I don't know, man. We should have Daniel back on and be like, so did the editors like ever do their job when you were working? We'll get him back on Patreon after the Beta Ray Bill thing. Oh my God! Yeah, let's let him get his book out first in the trade so he can get a payday, and then we'll have him back to talk the dirt. They're just like, oh yeah, like I turned in my pages, and then when it went into print, for some reason the editors changed Tony Stark to make him wear blackface. Yeah, and I didn't do that. They just added that in. I don't know why. Hell yeah. Alrighty, another piece of interesting comic news, kind of some deja vu, which, if we were Keanu Reeves, that'd be a bad thing. No, but I'd never heard of this guy before, but apparently he went viral, so you guys might have heard of him. So there is a movie that's called Keratin, Keratin, and it is apparently described as a bleak and isolated ritual drama. And this cartoonist named Adam Ellis tweeted about this, saying, "This film is a fully plagiarized shot-for-shot remake of my comic. The filmmakers didn't ask me for permission to adapt my work. They didn't even notify me when they were doing so until the film had already been released and was winning awards at film festivals." He goes on to post screenshots in the Twitter thread of where the filmmakers had emailed him and wrote, "They emailed me in October when the film was making festival rounds and asked me to help promote it. When I told them I didn't approve of it and asked them to pull it from festivals, they ghosted me for months. Now they've premiered it and they don't even credit him by name." He followed this up with, "The comic they stole is deeply personal to me, maybe the most personal comic I've ever made. I drew it shortly after I left my day job because of disputes over ownership of my personal work. The comic is about self-care, reinvention, and personal growth."
He posted some screenshots of like stills from the film next to drawings, and they totally stole it. And if you look at some of the threads, there's actually links to interviews where the filmmakers say that they found this and based it off of a comic that they had found online, and they never say this Adam guy's name. To be completely honest, yeah, go ahead.
That's a big dick move to be like, yeah, we stole this idea. We don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, looking at the art, I'm sorry, Adam. I mean, I know you got this blue verified check and almost 1 million followers, but I wouldn't remember who you were if I saw this comic either.
Yeah, the comic kind of reminds me of the same artist that drew that 4-panel comic that turned into a meme. It's called Loss.
Loss?
The internet's longest running
miscarriage yes. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Webcomic artist Tim Buckley.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this looks like shit.
Kind of reminded me that. I mean, to Adam's credit, his drawing is way better, but yeah, it is definitely a web comic.
Yes.
Like, what you think a web comic would look like, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not for me, which is, whatever.
Yeah.
And you know what? Talking about his check mark and his huge following, most people will know who this guy is because he made headlines about 2 or 3 years ago because he was, I believe, like live tweeting this kind of like a creepypasta. So those who don't know what a creepypasta is, it's basically like a horror story, but put within the context of reality, like presented as if it is actually occurring. So it's sort of like the sort of new media version of Blair Witch, right? Like where you're trying to blur the lines between reality and fiction. And there's been tons of this stuff coming out within the last 5 years. Actually, a good friend of the show, Trevor Henderson, is really well known for doing work like this in a visual format. He does a lot of these quote unquote found footage images that he makes where he will combine real photographs or stills from, real video and then include his art inside of it. So it sort of looks like you're looking at some sort of documentation of an otherworldly being or entity. And he's blown up since then because of that. And his work has been referenced multiple times. He's probably more well known for some of the monsters he's created, including Siren Head. So if you're a Zoomer, you definitely know what that is, because that is a hugely popular character now. Kind of similar to Slender Man. Thank you. Yeah, So it's very similar to Slender Man. So this kind of thing is not new, but Adam started posting these series of stories which would later be called Dear David. And it's a ghost story just kind of following his quote-unquote investigation in his own apartment because he believed it was haunted. I forget what studio picked it up, but they ended up buying the rights to it, and it's going to be adapted to in some form at some point. So he's doing fine. He's gained quite a bit of traction because of this, and I'm sure he's gaining quite a bit more press now because of this too. It's unfortunate that his work got stolen. That shouldn't happen to anyone. I don't care how bad your comics are.
Well,
that sucks.
And with them admitting that they stole it in an interview, surely this is all... If he takes this to court, I'm sure it's going to suck, but I mean, he's going to have a piece of this movie.
Right. And, going into it further, it looks like everything has been scrubbed from the web about this short. Like the video was taken down. The director of photography's portfolio was taken down. It pretty much almost doesn't exist anymore. So it's almost like it didn't happen. It's really funny.
Yeah.
The only evidence that even exists still proving that this, short happened is IMDb. The Keratin IMDb webpage is still up, but everything else has been taken down, which to me is like an open admission of guilt. Like, you know what you did.
Yeah, straight
now you're
up.
Trying to cover your tracks. And I think Newsweek even covered this too. So makes sense that this, the creative team behind this short is panic mode, trying to cover everything up.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, and it's, we were talking about it off air. It's the same shit that happened to Dan Clowes.
Yep.
Shia LaBeouf did this same exact thing a couple years back. So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, even though the comic's not for me, hopefully, this guy sees quote unquote justice and can, get some of the proceeds from this film or, stop it from coming out if that's what he wants to do. Because, like JB said, it doesn't matter who you are, having your art stolen from you like this sucks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So next bit of news, we actually have breaking news. This just hit our email. We received an email from Chris Lopez, who's one of the head organizers at Cake. If you're listening to this, you know what Cake is.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this and don't know what that is, Cake is Chicago Alternative Comic Expo. It's one of the biggest small press shows in America. I would say it's up there with shows like SPX, Short Run, CXC, etc.
Probably the best out of the bunch, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
In the email, they state, as someone selected to exhibit in Cake 2020, I want to give you a preview of our official statement coming soon about the state of the show this year. So, a couple things. No physical show this year, and your position will carry over to 2022.
Gutter gang, represent.
Yes, sir. Cake is focusing on digital programs and expanding cupcake grants until we feel it's safe to host something in person. If you would like your table fee refunded, please ask, and we will start working on it, but allowing us to float the money definitely helps us as an organization. Take care and stay warm, Chris and the cake organizers. In March 2020, cake organizers voted unanimously to postpone our June 2020 Expo. We had completed our exhibitor, venue, and special guest selections for 2020, and even though we were heartbroken that public health circumstances necessitated a postponement, we proposed a delay until June of 2021. While we are encouraged that the state of Illinois has, as of this writing, administered COVID-19 vaccine doses to over 1 million people, non-essential vaccinations are not scheduled to begin until June 2021, with an estimated completion in December 2021. We do not have a clear predictive model of national or international vaccination schedules because we are unwilling to jeopardize the safety of our exhibitors, public guests, our volunteer staff. We have unanimously voted to delay the show again with a new proposed date of June 2022. If you are accepted, yada, 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 we're planning a virtual fest, etc. and so forth. So this seems to be how most shows are going to be going in the next coming months. A lot of us thought, surely things will go back to quote unquote normal and we'll be able to table events again in 2021. It's looking like that's not really the case. If anything at all, we'll be lucky to see shows in 2022 at the start of that year. Related, TCAF also made a similar statement about a week ago. They announced that they are planning to move everything over digitally, and if you would like to table digitally, you can rent a table. A digital table, not a real one, a digital table for $60.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, from what it seems like, from what I saw, it's like a TCAF web store that you're going to get into if you pay them $60.
You're paying $60 to be on a web store.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are probably paying for followers, so this probably isn't too far off.
Right, yeah. Who does that? Do we legit know anybody that does that?
You know, I mean, I hate to harp on this guy, but in the Discord, people were saying that they think Pisker might have bought his followers just based off his ratio of likes to followers. But you know, that was alleged, you know, discussion.
There's no one's claiming that that's true. It's just allegedly something that might be happening.
Yeah, allegedly. So
allegedly, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying the guy has 20,000 followers and gets 8 likes on a tweet.
Yeah, something doesn't add up there. But again, allegedly, we don't know.
Yeah, I'm blocked, so I don't know. I'm just going off data that's presented to me. I don't, you know, I can't see it for myself.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this? I mean, this is kind of big.
The cake thing is cool. You know, they're being transparent. They're offering refunds and saying, hey, you know, if you want to let us keep it, that would fucking help. I would rather you do that than like SPX, you know, a month ago with the guilt trip email being like, if we don't keep these table fees, we're going to lose our deposit. Who fucking cares? I mean, that's your problem, not the fucking vendors, you know? Like,
yeah, that's why you have insurance on the venue.
Yeah, that's why you charge $500 for a fucking table. You know, like what the fuck are you doing with that money? But yeah,
yo, call Bezos, have him foot the bill.
Comixology, what's up? No, but yeah, so I like the transparency in Cake's statement that they're like, hey, you know, we'll refund you, but it would really help us if we're able to keep this. That's cool,
right?
I think that's awesome. As far as the TCAF shit, I mean, having to pay a table fee for a virtual fucking festival, I think that's lame as fuck.
That, you know what, to me, that reads as we live in Canada and the government actually gives us money.
Yeah.
So, you know, like outside of the context, yeah, sure, that's a dickhead move. But then you think about it within the context of Toronto and the rest of Canada. Yeah, like I could see people throwing $60 to be on a web shop.
I don't know, man. To me, it just seems like advertising. You know, it's like, oh, you're going to be in this spot that is like coveted in premiere. It's like buying an ad during the Super Bowl. You know, that's all it really kind of comes off to is me.
Some people find value in that. So, I mean, whatever. But
yeah, I guess
I know my American ass isn't going to fucking do that because I can't afford it.
I'm not even going to go to the TCAF website. Let me find out that you paid $60 to table virtually. Let me find out. I will fucking clown
Cam will roast you in the next episode if you tell him. So if you did, keep it to yourself.
As a matter of fact, I will go to TCAF. No, I'm going to go to TCAF's website now, and everybody that I know, if I see your book on there, you're going to be listed on the next episode.
What if it's a distro?
You know, regardless. It's a simp move to pay $60 to TCAF to fucking have your book in their little web store.
Yeah, fuck that. I mean, Gutter Boy should just have a fucking virtual show then at that point.
If you want to pay $10, I'll put your item in our big cartel.
Yeah, Gutter Boys Fest 2021, the first annual Gutter Boys Fest.
Well, I mean, if TCAF hears this, we're going to be banned from there, so we might have to start doing our own shows.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, so let us know what you think. As always, you can contact us through email at gutterboyspodcast@gmail.com. I promise you, even if we don't respond to those, we do read them all. I'm trying to get better at that. This has been the first time at the Gutter Boys Kentucky headquarters that I felt like I had like a clerical position at the podcast. I feel like I'm having to manage the podcast with our Patreon and whatnot. So I'm going to try to get better at it.
Cam, you're doing a great job. Really appreciate everything that you've done for the show.
No, I'm not saying that. But
no, I'm being honest. I'm not even. I'm not doing that because you just brought it up. I'm just saying it's like, you've been doing great work, and I would argue that we wouldn't be where we're at right now with our Patreon if it wasn't for your hustle. And so speaking of that, that'll actually segue perfectly before we go into break. As you all know, our Patreon went live on the 1st of February. Now, some of you threw in even before February 1st, meaning you threw us cash knowing you weren't going to get anything in return.
Yeah.
And I believe that was about what, like 13, 14
There was
patrons?
13. There was a baker's dozen of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
baker's dozen of you.
Big shout out. Y'all are the real ones. We're going to try and plan something for y'all because that means a lot to us.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, well, not more importantly, but after it went live, baby, we got 48 patrons within 24 hours.
Which I know that just to show our hand, JB and I talked about hitting a certain number on Patreon for us to keep doing it, and we have surpassed that number. And I honestly thought that it was going to take us a month or two if we would even hit it. So the overwhelming amount of you all that signed up and have chosen to give us money is honestly incredible. Very humbling, and it's really awesome to just know that we have fans and supporters out there that are willing to financially donate their own money that's hard to come by at this point in time to us. So we hope not to let you down. We're going to start posting more digital content. Our first episode did come out with Evan Salazar. You should have gotten a preview episode as well in your normal podcast feed. I think we're going to do that. Drop little previews for you all to try and get you all to sign up. But let us know what you think about the Patreon. That first episode was a little loose, not so comics oriented. Let us know if you want more content like that, or if you want, more comics talk. We're doing that to give you all more content, so.
Yes. And, going in, Cam and myself, we really wanted those bonus episodes to be kind of loose, a little more informal, and, kind of play it by ear. Maybe not focus too much on comics since you're getting that already in the normal episodes. However, if you would like for us to continue that line of dialogue about comics and process and whatnot, we can do that too. It's up to you. You guys are paying us for this, so you deserve some say in it, right?
Yeah.
So hit us up, send us an email or DM us and let us know what you think. Or you can go into the Discord with the other mutants and let us know there what you think of these bonus episodes and the Patreon in general. Either way, we really, really appreciate the support. It means a lot to us. Like Cam was saying, we did not expect to hit this number so early on. We'll see if we're able to retain that number, let alone push that number up. But at the end of the day, we're more focused just on providing a good show for you guys, right?
Yeah. So whatever you all want, we want to make happen on these bonus episodes.
Yeah. I mean, the show wouldn't continue the way it's continuing now without your support. So
yeah,
it is really appreciated, and we want your input about it. So thank you.
And what's really funny is I put a poll up on Instagram about it, and it's literally split down the middle on 16 votes. Sorry, 8 and 8.
Damn.
So we might have to do the half comic, half
Well, we can
loose.
just do one episode where we talk more in comics and another that's not so much. We can mix it up. I mean, we were going to mix it up anyway, to be honest with you. These episodes weren't all going to follow, some specific path where we have to keep the subject matter limited. It's very much just like what we're feeling when we're recording. So, and some people respond to that positively. Some people don't really want that. We understand. We'll try to meet expectations, or at least meet you halfway somehow, since, you are basically funding this now. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of funding, Gutter Gang Ventures, our first shirt is no longer for sale, but we do want to shout out everybody that bought one. We should have that into the printer by the time the episode drops on Monday. So yeah, be on the lookout for those. Like we kind of said on other episodes, global supply chains are kind of fucked up because of the pandemic. So, we're expecting 4 to 6 weeks before we get those to you. But, we definitely appreciate everybody that supported us and got one of those shirts as well.
Yes. And big shout out to Pablo Vigo for his amazing artwork that we used for the shirt.
Yep.
We also want to thank LVAC for their amazing print work. They basically do most, if not all, of the Hardway stuff that I oversee with my buddy Joe. So, great people over there. I know they had a huge blizzard recently. So yeah, I mean, delays are going to happen, folks. If it's something that really bothers you and you want the shirt ASAP, just let us know. We can refund you or, figure something out. But yeah, like Cam said, just keep that in mind. The printer's going to have to be dealing with a lot of problems because of COVID. And so that's going to lead to some delays potentially. But we will keep you informed. We're going to be as transparent as possible. We're not just going to take the money and run.
Yeah, for sure. And plus, you all paid with PayPal, so you're protected anyway.
Correct.
Alrighty, before we go, just want to give a quick shout out to previous guest and friend of the show, Katie Skelly. Katie has a new podcast called Thick Lines. It's hosted by Katie and cartoonist Sally Madden. Thick Lines looks at the aesthetics of independent comics with an eye towards fashion and beauty. You can find it on Spotify and SoundCloud. I am a little bit behind, but I listened to the first two, and it's good stuff so far.
Katie's great. You should definitely check out that new podcast. Hopefully we'll have her back on for a bonus episode. She does owe us a tarot reading last time I checked, so maybe we can cash that in for a bonus episode.
In October, if our Patreon is still standing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll be joined by Jasper Jubenvil, so stay tuned.
Pedos, stay out.
We'll be right back.
Hey Gutter Gang, we want to tell you about a webcomic that is also one of our Patreon supporters, Soggy Landing. Soggy Landing is an epic fantasy adventure about a weed wizard that stumbles into a gunpowder plot to smash the state. There's lots of cartoon animals, magic, historical, and literary references, drugs and flashbacks, songs, horror, gore, and the occult. Twice a week, there are new pages of Soggy Landing at Study Group Comics, and there are over 200 pages of frogs, bears, and revolution waiting for you right now. You can follow them on Instagram at welcome_to_soggy_landing or at Ian Dinsford. Soggy Landing. Hell yeah, dude.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways.
Oh, you got it.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville. I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they called Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel. And in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 bees for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh yes. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. They didn't have any white onions because of the war. The only thing you could get was those big yellow ones.
What the hell was that?
Now, back to our program.
Welcome back from the break. We're virtually sitting with our guest all the way from beautiful British Columbia, Canada, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah.
The next comic wonderkin, Jasper Jubenvil. Jasper, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. Is that how you say it, Jubenville?
Yeah, Jubenvill.
Okay, hell yeah.
It's used to be a little more French, but my family dropped it.
What was the original French version?
I don't even really know how it sounds, but there was like a little E on it, and yeah, I don't know.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
There's a whole.
Oh, go ahead.
Go. No. I was gonna get into some family background about why we dropped the E, but
I mean,
yeah,
please do
that
please.
Now. Yeah.
No, I mean, there was it was like a love story or something about how 2 of the brothers wanted to marry this one girl, and then I can't remember it exactly, but they got all pissed at each other, and one dropped the E, and then yeah.
Damn,
okay.
so you have like a whole like family that you're estranged from in a way.
Oh yeah. There's a whole side of Jubenvilles with the E on their last name.
That's amazing.
Wow, so
Gutter Boys exclusive.
When did that happen?
Oh, like back in like the 40s or something.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Damn.
It's still somewhat recent though.
Yeah.
Old-timey blood feuds, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Pretty sick. So would that have been like your uncle, great uncle or something?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I think it was like my grandpa's dad.
Okay.
And his brother.
Okay. Gotcha. So your great grandfather, I guess. Yeah. Something like that. Alrighty. Well, if you're listening to the show, you probably are aware of who Jasper is. But if not, Jasper does his own comic, Dynamite Diva. Issue number 3 just came out from friend of the show, Strangers Fanzine. Jasper, you've been working on Diva for, a year, 2 years now, it seems?
Yeah, it's been a year. I was going to put out issue 3 around November, which would be its 1 year anniversary.
Well, and forgive me if I'm being ignorant, but I found you from Dynamite Diva. I know you were doing comics before from things you posted, like you were, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but you were doing like a newspaper strip when you were like a child?
Yeah, I've been doing comics like forever, but the Dynamite Diva was the one that kind of took off, and I've had the most fun with it so far, so.
So were you making comics before Dynamite?
Yeah, I was. I did a few like zine things and a mini comic before that, and then I did stuff before, but I just never printed it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because like I said, I was aware of, who you were because of Dynamite Diva, and it seems like your posts kind of start with Dynamite Diva, so I didn't know if, there was like a lot of older stuff.
Yeah, she's been the one that's taken off.
But yeah, you're 20 years old.
Yeah, 20.
And working and putting out work that looks like a true veteran, if I must say so myself.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I've told you this before, but it's scary how good you are for how young you are.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I do want to talk about that, though. You were doing a newspaper comic strip when you were like, 8 years old or something crazy like that?
Yeah, when I was 10.
10. How'd that happen?
Well, I was just like drawing a lot of comic stuff, and I that's when I kind of found the newspaper strip stuff, and I wanted to do a newspaper strip, so I reached out to my local newspaper and asked them if they wanted to run a comic.
And they were just like, yes, there was like no, fighting it or anything like that?
No, they didn't fight it at all. I mean, I think they probably pitied me a little bit because I was a little kid.
Exactly. They're not going to say no to a little kid sending in their comics.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know, like to print it and give them like, space in the paper. I feel like most of the time they'd be like, oh, this is nice.
This is Canada, Cam. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. It's a little small town in Canada.
So how long were you doing that strip?
I was doing that for like a year. So I was in grade 6, which is like elementary school. I was going to go into high school when I stopped, and I couldn't do it anymore because I just had too much homework.
So were you doing it daily or weekly?
Oh my God.
I was doing it weekly.
Weekly. So you were in like the Sunday paper?
Yeah.
Damn. So what was the strip about? And what was it called?
Well, the first one, it was called Clayboy, and it was like just a total ripoff of Plastic Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was just like a superhero thing. And then I did like a vote where people could vote for the next story, and that ended up being a Western story, and that was whatever. And then I was on to the third story that was going to be like another superhero story, but I just gave up on that one.
So you actually had like a readership?
Yeah, I mean, they were
mostly a publishing credit at the age of 10. that's fucking amazing.
Syndicated in papers.
Not
at 10
many
years
people
old.
can claim that.
I mean, I guess it was like I used to put it on my resume and stuff.
You still should.
It should be on your CV right now.
Yeah. No, it still is, I think.
So, like, you were writing and drawing it? I know you were drawing it, but you were writing it as well?
Yeah, I was writing it, but I mean, I was basically just ripping off stuff that I was reading or watching movies of.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, people 3 times your age at that time were doing the same thing, so I'm sure you got a pass.
Yeah. I don't think I really had a readership. It was just old ladies and people that would go to my dad's church and stuff, so it wasn't like I was... But yeah.
You gotta get that senior citizen bag.
Yeah.
Did the other kids at your school know you were drawing the comics?
Oh, yeah. That was like the only thing I could brag about.
Yeah, I mean that's sick. So when you're drawing these things, are you like on a tight deadline, or is the paper like calling your house being like, where's the strip, Jasper?
No, it was nothing like that. It would get more to the point where I would just draw it all at once and do it all in like one night.
Okay. Was it like a multiple panel, or was it a single panel strip, or?
It was 4 panels, and then sometimes I would do like a 12 panel or whatever.
Do you still have all that stuff, like the clippings and whatnot?
Yeah, I do.
Hell yeah, you got to put
awesome.
it out, bro.
I wanna collect it up and put it into a little thing just so people can look at it, but I haven't had the chance.
Do you like it, or are you like it's stuff you hate looking at?
Well, I don't hate it because it's like I was a 10-year-old, so it's just like fun. Like
it's a fucking flex, bro.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't think it's very good, but it was just me having fun as a little kid, so I'm not gonna be too hard on myself.
That's pretty sick. Do you still have a relationship with that paper? Would you go back to syndicating there?
Well, it's a pretty small paper, and no, actually, the editor died.
Oh no.
Oh,
So,
Damn.
yeah, I can't go back.
the new regime comes in. They're like, we can finally get this kid off the fucking paper rope.
No more 10-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't want to interfere with my school anymore.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Gotta get your education.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a good flex at the time.
It
Yeah, I'd
still
say
is.
so. Yeah, it still is,
Yeah.
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 I guess.
So you said you made a couple minis and then eventually you found your way kind of with Dynamite Diva. Is Dynamite Diva just going to be your focus? Is this going to be your character from here on out? Or are you planning on, eventually doing something else?
Well, no, I mean, I think I'll move on to other things eventually.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of having a character that I can just keep working with. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like go until it's run into the ground or something. I want to have a good point where I can cut it off eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what were the initial seeds for Dynamite Diva?
I mean, at the time, I was just watching a lot of like exploitation films, and I was really digging it. And I was like, okay, I want to. Well, I mean, where it really came from is I was writing a comic, but I just didn't feel like I had the writing chops for it. So I kind of dropped it, and then I was like, I'm gonna do something that I can just kind of have fun with and express what I like about comics. So I was watching all these exploitation films, and I was like, I'll follow that kind of vein and make a kind of comic badass girl character like in those exploitation films, and I can
Right.
do whatever I want with her.
And there seems to be like a lot of influences from those early Dick Tracy strips.
Yeah. Dick Tracy was big for me, especially around the time I got into the newspaper strip when I was 10. That was like what I was reading at that time, and it's just kind of stuck with me. It's been a constant inspiration. It's been a part of my style for a while.
I mean, I want to kind of ask about that because, I mean, you're 20, so 10 years ago you were doing a strip. That would have been, I guess, 2011. So you were reading Dick Tracy comics in 2011, which, like, comics are already a harder sell to kids, but, like, how are you getting Dick Tracy at 10 years old?
Yeah.
How did you come across that?
It was my dad. He had a bookshelf, and he had some comics at the bottom. He was kind of into comics, and I picked up the 1990s Dick Tracy movie comics that Kyle Baker was
hell
doing.
yeah, we talk about that shit a lot.
Yeah, that shit rocks.
Yeah, that was the introduction. Kyle Baker was like really freaking cool, and I was just into that whole like gangster scene kind of thing. And then a little bit later, I was like kind of looking into Dick Tracy as a character and realized that it was an old strip. So I just kind of got more fascinated with that and ended up getting some of the big hard copy books.
Okay. That was like the older Chester Gould stuff you're talking about, right? That you were getting into?
Yeah, the Chester Gould stuff.
Yeah, because that shit rocks. And there's definitely, you definitely show the influence of those strips in Dynamite Diva, like we were kind of alluding to. Do you feel like Dynamite Diva is almost an homage to that?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
I didn't know if you viewed it that way.
Well, I don't even know if like I do it subconsciously, like it just kind of happens. It's just because that was like the only comic I was reading and really paying attention to as a kid, that it informed me so much as I've grown up, that it's just his style has become part of my style almost.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Dynamite Diva is definitely in that category of, a one kind of character adventure kind of thing.
If you end up doing CXC one day and you go to the Billy Ireland, they have Chester Gould's drawing desk on display.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, you're not supposed to touch it, but I touched it. Just
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, now
I mean, it's
know,
like right
Cam.
there. Yeah, like it's literally like it's like don't touch, and I'm just like fuck this, and I
Just
I
whip
touched
your
the
dick out and
desk.
start rubbing it.
Yeah, and I was
Just
like, this
across
dude
the table.
jerked off into the inkwell.
I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
At
I mean, what
his
are they gonna
desk.
do? Be like, don't touch and kick me out? Like, okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's like Highlander,
Yeah.
But instead of decapitating the guy, you just rub your dick on them.
So you said that your dad was into comics. Do your parents read your stuff?
Yeah, my dad was kind of into comics. He just like would collect those shitty Flash comics from the 80s and stuff. But yeah, no, my parents will read it. My grandparents not so much. They're not super into it because it's a little more on the cuff, like with violence and nudity and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to
Right, yeah.
ask, like, does that feel weird? Your parents like reading, kind of sexy comics that you do?
No, I mean, it did when I was younger, like in high school, but I got over it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to draw what I want. I don't care.
Yeah, because I mean, you lean into it, and then it's not a bad thing at all. But I mean, like part of like Diva's appeal is she's, you know, presented as like this sexy killer, you know?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, for sure. No, my parents are totally cool with it. They're pretty supportive and good that way. But my grandparents they don't collect my books at all.
Yeah.
My one grandparents, they're probably going to watch this. So, but my one grandparents, they were reading the story I did for Strangers, and it's got like a few swear words, and I was just watching the cringe on my grandpa's face as he was reading it.
Are you talking about the Daredevil story you did for Strangers?
Yeah, the Daredevil story.
Yeah, that was so sick. You are being published by Strangers now. Well, Dynamite Diva 3 just came out, but aren't you doing a Dynamite Diva book? Isn't that what's next on your plate as far as Dynamite Diva is concerned?
Yeah, the book's going to come up. Yeah, Strangers, I just reached out to Eddie and was like, hey, I want to print the next Diva book at a bigger size, 8.5 by 11, so like magazine size. And I know that's what he printed at. So I was like, do you want to print Diva? And I'm not going to say that I started him doing the publishing, but I think I got the little wheels turning, maybe.
You hear that, Eddie?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so Jasper's is responsible for Strangers publishing, which thank you, because I think me and Eddie are about to reissue a book. So thanks to Jasper for starting that.
Well, no, I'm not saying thanks to me. It's, but I did reach out to him. So
yeah, and I think it was like the first one that dropped, right? You and that, I forget the other guy. He does the sober comic.
Jared Cody Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. We both dropped around the same time.
You guys were the inaugural releases, and now Strangers seems to be kind of rolling and doing drops all the time now, which is cool.
He's doing crazy. Like,
yeah, Eddie's doing good work.
Yeah, no, he is. It's really helpful, because that was like the biggest thing that I hated about it was printing the comics and sending it out, and Eddie's doing that all now for me, which is just awesome.
Well, yeah, and I actually got Dynamite Divas 1 and 2 directly from you, so you were printing that at home?
Yeah, printing them at home, just on my LaserJet. But
nice. So how many copies were you doing like that? Because I mean, like, Strangers wasn't until recently, so you were doing that for, I guess, like a whole year, packing and shipping your own orders?
Yeah. I think I did like 400 or something of Diva 1 and 2, like 400 each, and it was too much.
That's crazy. Did you print them all at once?
Yeah, well, no, not at all at once. I would do it like when people would order, but it was eating through my ink, and it was becoming really expensive to just use my home printer. Right.
So, I mean, it's definitely like a whole different ballgame when you're like publishing with someone else. Are you able to talk about what you're doing for the book? Is it that far along yet?
Oh, yeah. The book is pretty much close to being done. I mean, kind of. Yeah, so basically I'll be collecting issue 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to color it. And then I've got just every Diva drawing that I've done. And then I've got the Diva comics that I've done for other anthologies. Like I did the Zine Panique, so the French one, and there will be some other ones. And then just everything Diva that I've done, I'm going to put into the book. So it'll be like this big 1-year collection of all the Diva stuff.
Are you publishing that yourself, or do you have a publisher that's doing that for you?
Yeah, these guys they're called the Cope Brothers. They do Dino Beasts, and they're not exactly publishers, but they're trying to open kind of like a publishing label, and their books are printed on really, really nice quality. So they reached out to me and they said we should do a Diva collection, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. But I'll also kind of be probably working with Eddie a bit, and we'll probably run a Kickstarter. And
so, what was the Dino thing you just mentioned?
So they make they're these two brothers, and one of them writes and the other one draws, and they have this book called Dino Beasts.
Oh, Dino Beast. Okay, gotcha.
Dino Beast, yeah.
It's a comic?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of like a He-Man kind of thing, but with dinosaurs.
What's the artist's name?
I get them confused. John Coates and James Coates.
Oh, okay. I follow them, I think.
Yeah. I can't remember which one's the writer, which one's the artist. I know that's really bad, but...
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So when is that... are you dropping that at the end of the year?
Probably kind of in the springtime.
Nice.
I've basically done everything that I need to do for it. I just am making some extra stuff now, like a few extra comics for it to make it a little more exclusive.
Okay. With you being based in British Columbia, there's a pretty cool comic scene in Toronto. What's it like there where you're at?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I haven't been able to like really get out and meet with the comic scene, or because
you're going to be a celebrity by the time you get out, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You're going to have lines.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Don't forget us.
Yeah. I'm going to come up. I'm going to cut your line. You better talk to me.
I'm never going to forget the Gutter Gang.
Mm-hmm.
Could you sign my feet?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe. But
Right.
no, Vancouver scene, it seems pretty cool. I've been in contact with like a few dudes around here and stuff, and there's some cool people, and I have a little studio downtown, so it's shared with a few other artists, and I've kind of met with them a bit, and it's pretty fun. But it'll be better once I can actually get to shows and all that fun stuff.
Hell yeah. So are you planning on doing any shows this year? I know that some are kind of creeping up at the end of the year. Do you have any plans to do anything this year?
Yeah, I was gonna do VanCaf, so the Vancouver comic show, but it got shut down. I was all signed up and stuff. Then COVID hit. They're saving my spot for the next year.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, as far as like other shows going down, I'd want to go down to Seattle and stuff, but the borders are closed right now and stuff, so I can't even. It's not even on my plate right now. But hopefully one day.
Yeah. Did you all see that TCAF was going virtual and it's like a week long?
Yeah, I did see that, but
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna go.
There's a table fee, too.
Yeah, there's a table fee, and apparently what it is it's just like access to an online store with all the exhibitors. It's like, bro,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's shitty.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be a part of that.
totally. Yeah, I wouldn't be into it either.
They were gonna do a digital thing here for the VanCaf, but I opted out. I was like, yeah, no, just save my place for next year.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, because next year, surely, with the vaccine and everything, I would like to think.
Surely. There's
Surely.
no way that we could keep this up for another year, right?
Yeah.
Well, in Canada, it might be better, right?
COVID is a little better here, but still, I think we're maybe a little more careful. I don't know. So we're all still shut down. But yeah, I don't think the numbers are quite as bad.
Yeah, you guys seem to be a little more on top of it.
Yeah, I think we are a little more on top of it. But still, I mean, we're not going out or anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll all bump into each other in 2022.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So you kind of touched on the fact that you probably want to move on to other projects after Dynamite Diva.
Yeah.
Any kind of ideas to what that might be, what you've been interested in, what you see yourself working on in the future?
I don't know what I would necessarily do because my headspace is still in Dynamite Diva.
Right.
But I mean, I would definitely want to do something that's a little more story driven, not as much. I mean, I feel like Dynamite Diva, it's got a story, but it focuses on it's kind of just a loose story.
Right. Something that's not maybe intentionally serialized like that.
Yeah, like a more put together ongoing narrative, definitely. But I still don't feel like I have the writing chops for it yet.
So for writing these scripts, what was that process like when you first started out? Like, did you have any frame of reference before you worked on these books?
No, I would just kind of go right for it.
Okay.
I would just kind of go right in. And I mean, that's still kind of what I do, but I'll just pencil out each page and I won't even know how the story will end at the time.
Oh, so you're going in like that blind? Like you don't even know how you're going to end anything?
Yeah,
Hell
no,
yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to finish up Diva at Diva 3 when I started. So
you just kind of have an idea and just work it out on the page?
Yeah, and it keeps it a little more fun then for me. Like I can figure it out as I go too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty relatable. That's almost in the same way that I work when, quote unquote writing.
Yeah. I work it out through thumbnails, like not a script.
I want to get behind that a bit more, but I just haven't yet.
I mean, you've been doing comics, God, half your life at this point, probably longer than that if you started being serialized at 10, but I mean, like, you've been in it.
You've been in it longer than most people.
Yeah.
I mean,
not to air your family business, but your brothers are also artists as well.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah. Don't you have two brothers, right? Are they both into art?
No, I have one brother and then one sister, but she's not so much.
Damn, Cam's making fake news live on the podcast.
Somebody told me
fake
that
news,
you had an older brother that was an animator. It may have been Pettinger.
No,
Josh lying in the Discord? That would never happen.
It may not have been Pettinger, but it just seems like a Josh thing to say. So I could have gotten work there.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Well, I did follow your brother on Instagram, and he's incredible as well.
Yeah, he is crazy.
I mean, with you all both being artists, like, what's the dynamic like there? Were you all helping each other out? Were you guys not getting along growing up? I mean...
Well, no, we're pretty close, me and my brother. He's 2 years younger than me, and we're a lot similar in our interests, and that kind of thing. So we do always kind of get along, but he's taking, I guess, a little bit of a different path. He's not so much into the comics. He'll do a lot more of like painting and that kind of thing. But I mean, he's just crazy good at it. And
maybe he'll be the next Kurt Ankeny.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, maybe.
Kurt, watch your back.
Yeah.
They're coming for you.
Jasper's coming for us. Levi. His name's Levi, right?
Yeah, Levi.
Yeah, Levi's coming for you. Now, do you think you're a lifer with comics at this point, or do you want to move into different directions with art?
I mean, I'd be down to move into different directions with art. I think comics are where my heart lies, probably.
Mm-hmm. So are you reading any like modern stuff? I know
No, not at all. Unless like new little zines and stuff that people will put out, but like Rodeo and that kind of thing, but nothing too modern.
So you're mostly just consuming like small press stuff on like okay.
Yeah, the small press stuff, and then I'll read a lot of the I'm just started rereading all the Dick Tracy, so
yeah. Didn't you blow your stimulus check on Dick Tracy books?
Yes, yeah. I did, and we got a ton of money here in Canada, and I have spent a lot of it.
Hell yeah.
Hey, you guys get quite a bit a month, right?
Yeah, it was like $2,000 a month.
That's crazy.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
God, this country fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
God damn it.
I'm gonna come move to Canada.
I mean, I know we talk about this all the time on the show, but like, Jesus fucking Christ.
So
yeah, no, it was pretty intense.
Well, and Canada cares about the arts. Have you gotten any or looked into any of those like art grants up there? Because they just love to give money to artists up there, it seems.
They do. I've kind of looked into it. I've looked into it a little bit for the book I'm going to put out.
Mm-hmm.
When I got the studio space, there's a guy in there, Sean Caremaker, and he works with Conundrum Press.
Okay.
And he was telling me about it. He got a $10,000 grant, just like easy. Yeah, easy peasy for his next book. So
damn.
Yeah.
So,
are y'all taking citizens up there?
Yeah, I mean, you guys could probably sneak in. I don't think it'd be that hard.
Yeah.
I'll keep you in my house.
Hell yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Yeah, no. So I'm looking into it a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, take advantage of that stuff because, we don't have it here, but it would be great if we did. But yeah, if you can get the government to pay for your comics, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. And I mean, not even to like brag, but I think Sean was saying like he got a $20,000 grant for his last book and they didn't even tax it or anything. So he didn't use it all. So he just got to keep a bunch of that money.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
All right, so we got a bunch of listener questions. So let's go ahead and get into that.
And as always, if you want to participate with us here on the show and ask JB and I or our guest questions, you can always write to us at gutterboyspodcast@gmail.com. We are on Instagram and Twitter at gutterboyspod. We usually put up questionnaires on our social media stories to where you can send us questions directly that way, or you can DM us if you want to as well. As far as the first question is concerned, though, let's see here. All right, so first question came from Michael_Falotico_art. How the hell do you draw so much, you prolific bastard? So I guess talk a little bit about like what your schedule looks like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think people think that I get a lot done, but I was working in a sheet metal shop, so I saved up some money to get a printer and stuff, and then I just quit. So I'm just working at home all the time on it. So I'm not like cramming in time or working super late or anything. It's just been the past year sitting at home and drawing.
Do you set a schedule for yourself, or are you just like, I'm going to finish this page today?
Yeah, I try to do like, I think it averages about out to like maybe 12 hours a day that I'm sitting there actually drawing.
Damn. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are you drawing like 5, 6, 7 days a week?
Oh yeah. Every day of the week.
Every day. Don't take a day off?
Well, I'll take the weekend off a bit, but sometimes I'll just be like, gotta get some stuff done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay, next question is from Instagram user Ian Densford. What's up, Ian? He asks, Jasper likes to draw tiny. Me too. I like one-to-one stuff. No resizing for print. Y'all agree?
Yes, I do like to draw tiny. I don't know. I'm too scared to work big. That's the way I feel about it.
How big are you drawing in terms of like paper size?
It kind of depends on the project. For the Diva 3, I was just drawing. I'm really bad with computers and stuff and arranging on the page, so I'll just draw.
That's illegal. You're not allowed to be bad at computers if you're a Zoomer.
No, I know, but I never got a hang of it. We had classes on it and stuff, like how to type fast, but I just never got a hang of it.
Huh.
But so I'm working at the size that I'll actually be printing the thing at. So I did Diva 3, I just drew it at 8.5 by 11. And I mean, I was just working on a mini comic for the little resin toy that I was putting out. Yeah. And I was drawing that comic at like 4 by 5 inches or something.
Oh, wow.
So like really small. Yeah.
Ooh, but so are you using like microns on that, or what are you doing to get that small?
I'm basically just using the 102 nib pen.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the microns all that much, but sometimes.
Yeah. I think microns are overrated.
Oh, it's so overrated. I don't use that stuff at all. I have a ton of them that I never use.
Yeah. I mean, they're good for practice or whatever, but yeah.
No, I would never do a final thing with microns.
Yeah. Yes, same, exact same. It's just like the ink isn't even opaque. What's the point of that?
Oh, the ink is like clear.
Garbage.
Almost. Yeah, I know it's garbage. I never use that stuff.
I do like Coptics though.
Yeah, I've never used those, but I've heard they're good.
They're pretty similar to microns in terms of like sizes, but I don't know. I just prefer them. They're better ink and they don't run out as quickly, and the nibs don't turn to dog shit within 2 minutes. So
yeah, I got onto the actual metal nibs just from wanting to try to do the old style thing.
That makes sense. Yeah,
and I just am stuck with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
mean that's how the pros do it. So makes sense.
I mean, it's probably just whatever you feel comfortable with. You can make some cool stuff with lots of.
Yeah. But I mean, it definitely makes sense in terms of like your point of reference, like you know what you're being inspired by. Most of that work, if all of it, I mean, yeah, all of it's done by nib. So
oh yeah, for sure, it falls in line with the vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that's really small. I usually work at the same size every time. If I'm doing on physical paper, I'm 9 by 12, but I do a 8 by 10 working area. And same thing if I'm working digitally, I set the digital canvas at 9 by 12 as well.
I mean, I need to get better at doing that. I get so anxious when I work too big. I screw up too much. I just am more comfortable going really small.
You're in more control when it's smaller, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I do not like working small.
Really?
For some reason, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not able to really control that line the same way that I could on, 11 by 17.
Yeah, I get that. That will happen to me sometimes too, and I'll be like, this would look so much better if I was doing it big, but
yeah, I think a lot of the problem is just how I work. It almost becomes illegible to a certain degree if I'm working that size, and then I have to simplify everything to the point where I don't know, it just almost looks like a thumb than an actual fully rendered drawing. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Cam, you got the next question?
Yeah, let me pull it back up. Alrighty. Friend of the show, Maddie, Morgan Freeman's Earring on Instagram asked, who's the top, you or Nate?
Oh, man.
Good question.
We're talking about Nate Garcia, other child prodigy in comics.
I would like to say that I'm the top, but in all reality, Nate is probably the top.
Oh, damn.
If we're talking in the context that I'm thinking we're talking in.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to say I'm the top, but I think Nate is.
Instagram user k.caraballo. What up? You past guests in front of the show.
What's up, Kalani?
Kalani asks, if I drop an Ed Piskor diss track, will you play it on your show? So I'm going to guess that's for
me and you.
Cam and I.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play it anytime you want, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing it all the time till I draw, probably.
Yeah, I'm going to learn every word. Yeah, Kalani, we'll drop it if you make it, we'll drop it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll use the hell out of that thing.
What was the Funk Master Flex? Where did you get this one? We'll put that fucking sound effect on
it. You got to make it a Patreon exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be
hell
great,
yeah.
actually.
Alrighty. Next question came from Joshua of Grand Rapids on Instagram. Josh said, I love when Bill Sienkiewicz inks over other artists. Seeing distinct but simpatico styles have a kind of dialogue is always great. Would Jasper ever consider inking over Levi or having someone like Hydro ink over him? Likewise, have Cam and JB ever thought of doing stuff like that either with each other or respectively with other parties? Jasper, I guess to make this more of a broad question, have you ever thought about like inking someone else's work or having someone else ink you?
Sure. I mean, I've thought about inking other people's work. I did, for Bubbles, I did the header for this old Outlaw comic, New Beginning, and can't remember the guy who made it, what his name was, but he was going to put out another issue, and the pencils were done like in the 80s, and I was kind of talking about it and wanting to actually ink over it, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, but as far as someone else inking over me, sure. I mean, it would be cool, I'm sure, but I don't pencil very much. I'm very loose with my pencil, so I don't know if I could really translate it very well.
That could be interesting, though.
It could be, but I'm talking like really loose. Like I hardly pencil.
I mean, I've inked over Alexis Sirit's stuff. His pencils are extremely loose. So,
okay. I mean,
I think it's possible. You just need to find somebody that, could navigate that.
Yeah, and I'm sure my brother would be very good at it. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
I guess.
So, JB, you kind of answered it there that you have inked someone else. Do you want somebody else inking you, though?
I mean, that's happened before just for fun. Like me and Aaron Connolly would do that at shows, or, if I took a trip down to Florida and I was hanging out with him, we would do that sometimes. So yeah, I've had it happen. Not like a full comic though. Mm-hmm. I would be kind of interested in doing that if the right project came and, if the right artist was presented. It would be fun, I think. I'm probably going to be doing something similar to that soon for my friend of the show, Jesse DeStasio. He has a toy line that also has a mini comic that goes along with it. And he's been doing a couple different ones for his toy line called Toy Pizza. Well, the toy line is not called Toy Pizza. It all falls under his small art toys kind of label, I guess you could say, called Toy Pizza. Mm-hmm. And so they have these line of figures that they've been producing, and they all have switchable parts, so you can swap out things and change the costumes or change accessories and arms and legs and heads and whatnot. And there's all kinds of different parts that you can do that with. So that allows him to have this almost endless sandbox of potential stories and characters and stuff. And then from there, he kind of fleshes out stories. And so the next project that they presented to me was actually the guy that hired me to do the Mofos thing that I talked about, but he's hiring me to ink their, I guess, issue number 5 for an ongoing series he's been working on. So that'll be my first time just straight up inking someone else's pencils. I'm very interested to see how that goes because I've never done that for a whole story. I think it's 12 pages. So we'll see, I guess.
That sounds sick. I think I've heard of the Toy Pizza. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Jess is a great dude, and they make really interesting toys. So
yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big toy fan. So it's always
totally
nice to do that.
Yeah, me too. It's always fun to get a cool toy related thing.
Yeah, and I'm super jealous that you got a Dynamite Diva minifigure. That is something that I've been wanting to do to coincide with a comic for a while now. So
yeah, that just totally happened out of the blue. I just saw the guy on Instagram and saw that he makes these little toys, and I'm like, hey, how much would you pay, or how much would it cost to make a toy? Because I was trying so hard for so long to make my own, but it just wasn't turning out.
Yeah, making toys from scratch like that is no easy task. You got to know how to, not just know how to sculpt, you also have to know how to cast and mold using, silicone and resin, and that has its own learning curve.
Oh, it's the biggest pain in the ass. Don't try it.
Yeah,
it's the biggest pain in the ass.
It's, and it's a lot of money too.
Oh, it's so expensive. It's so expensive.
Ugh.
But yeah, no, it was pretty fun to do that. Toys are awesome.
Hell yeah. We'll have a toy segment at some point that no one will listen to.
Yeah, Patreon exclusive.
Yeah, Patreon. Yeah.
And have a card segment.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we should have Carly on and do cards.
Yeah, Carly will be on soon.
There you go. Okay, yeah. So Instagram user Chuton with a bunch of underscores.
Yeah, CHUTON.
We already answered this question. They ask, what's the size of his original pages, and does he plan his stories ahead, or is it improvisation? So we already got that.
Yeah.
Next question is from Speak of the Devil, Nate Garcia Cartoons on Instagram. He asks, favorite cereal box character?
Okay, well, that is super easy. Tony the Tiger.
Yeah?
Oh, okay.
Tony the Tiger, especially the early stuff, it looks so good.
I'm a fan of the monsters, Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. They're pretty good.
Frankenberry's probably my favorite out of the 3.
Yeah, Frankenberry's probably the best.
The Honey Smacks frog, he might be racist now. I don't know if that's a character or not, but he looked cool.
How is that racist?
I don't know. It's I get WB frog vibes from him. So it wasn't the WB frog considered racist?
I mean, if we're going by that, then all
frogs are racist.
All pre and post war cartoons are racist.
Oh, okay. Well, edit out where I said that the Honey Smacks guy was racist, because I don't know for
we're
sure.
Leaving that baby in. That's a hot take.
That is a hot take. Leave it in.
What about you?
Man, yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite cereal mascot now that I think about it. I mean, I do love Cap'n Crunch, but that's just because that was my favorite cereal growing up.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah, that's solid.
Tony the Tiger is a good choice, honestly.
Tony's the classic one for sure. Yeah.
The Fruit Loops toucan.
Yeah, he was
No,
cool.
that bitch sucks. Fuck him.
Toucan Sam.
Fucking bitch ass bird. No, get that out of here.
Toucan Sam.
There were the 3 Rice Krispie brothers.
Nope, they suck too.
Yeah, they're kind of...
What was the Cinnamon Toast? Was he a baker? Cinnamon Toast Crunch guy? Was he a baker, I think?
Oh, you know what? It's that weird like Furby looking honeycombs guy that replaced the frog. Or no, didn't replace the frog, but there was like
the one who looked like he was on crack. He was like CGI. It was like a face with the
Oh, the CGI ones are insane.
The late 90s or early 2000s commercials with that little CGI freak running around and
the honeycomb
Oh,
crackhead.
jeez.
Yep. I'll go with him.
Yeah, that was cool. Hell yeah.
Okay, yeah, beast.
Alrighty. Next question came from Instagram user more_chairs. Why Dick Tracy?
Why Dick Tracy?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's what I just latched onto when I was young and really rolled with it. And it's pretty awesome art. It's a fun. Yeah. I mean, the art specifically is very interesting because it's just pretty pathetic in the beginning. And then he just becomes very design conscious, Chester Gould. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I don't really know why. I just caught on to it when I was young and have stuck with it.
I mean, you can't really go wrong with Gould.
No,
honestly.
No, you can't. I mean, he's just got that design skill that's like his blacks are perfect, his whites are perfectly balanced. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's very appealing and very...
no one can draw a profile like him.
Oh, no. Yeah, the characters are just so fun. It's just like, I don't know. The only thing that's not to like would be the whole fact that Dick Tracy is like a total asshole.
Right, yeah, he's just he's just a dickhead cop.
He's just a huge piece of shit. But other than that, I mean, the art's fantastic.
Yeah, and even when I was a kid, I wasn't a huge fan of Dick Tracy because of Dick Tracy. I just loved the Rogues Gallery.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're so cool. They're just so fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Dick Tracy's like the all-American, perfect cop. Like, I've been reading some of the old stuff, and he's like conditionalizing this little kid into becoming a cop just like him. And like, I don't know, it's pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah, and he just like straight up kills people without any regard for anything. He does not give a shit.
And a lot of the time, not even for a reason. Like, the person will be like just straight up turning themselves in, and he'll just shoot them like 7 times with a Tommy gun, like through the dick or something.
Justice has been served.
Yeah, but it makes it kind of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
No, yeah. We're not, reading Dick Tracy because
no.
That way of consuming media does not make sense to me anyway. So.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's always like, oh, how's he gonna die this time?
Right. Yeah, sorry, Tracy, you're canceled, sis.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he would be. He would be.
All right, next question is from Instagram user t.uwu. She asks, who is the worst artist on Earth? Now, I'm going to assume that question means comic artist, because otherwise, that's just too broad.
Otherwise, it's Amanda Palmer.
We'll just stick to comic. Yeah, so Jasper, who do you think is the worst artist on Earth?
Man,
Kill your career before it starts, bro.
Yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go.
This is a heated question.
Just say somebody who's dead.
But I can't think of anyone who's dead who I don't like.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll say Chris Ware only because of his status. Because I don't know, that's all I can think of at the moment. And I just think he's like totally overrated, and I don't like his art at all.
I like that. It's like coming from a very honest hater perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's not even like, oh, I think his, a stylistic approach is. No, it's just like, I just don't like he's famous. I just don't like that.
Yeah, and the best part about it is you're a Zoomer. So, like, if any of these old head ass motherfuckers have, problems with you, it just doesn't resonate with you.
On him.
Yeah, get on my level.
Right. I know they're just out of touch and old. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Get on TikTok and start beef.
Yeah. Chris Ware. Chris Ware's nowhere on TikTok. You'll never see him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a coward.
Yeah, probably Chris Ware. I don't know. I could probably think of a better answer, but I just I don't know. He kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, we're big fans of Ware, but I can understand.
It's okay.
That.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to look at a comic that looks like a diagram or a graph, I feel that.
I mean, I don't hate him, but that's just the answer I can think of right now.
Will this character be sad?
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
One or 2 teardrops.
I've never actually read any of his stuff, but it's
it's better to look at than read, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't.
So
feel
if you don't
that.
like it from looking at it, I wouldn't suggest reading it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of artists that I'm going to sound like an asshole, but I feel like there's a lot of artists that I just don't like. But I don't know. That's the one I can think of right now.
Hell yeah. Who do you hate, JB?
I mean, we know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
It's like we've literally built an entire fucking, series of episodes just based on that.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the easy one is Ed, but
Yeah, Ed Pisker and Nathan Pyle. Next question. Yeah, so next question came from Instagram user day_day_mon. Has he read a lot of pulp novels?
Pulp novels?
Yeah.
No, I haven't read any pulp novels.
You should read Raymond Chandler, man. I think that's the...
Yeah, I've heard he's good.
Yeah, he's all right.
I have a hard time reading just words.
I mean, even if you don't read them, you should at least check out the covers.
Oh, the covers definitely are. And like the whole style of it definitely is. I've never read any.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a book of pulp adventures kind of collected in a magazine. They were because they were printing a comic like a pulpy comic that I was having a really hard time finding. I can't remember what it's called though, but I should read some of the stories in there.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like repeated tropes that you could pick up on and maybe recycle into your stories in some new creative way.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we have some questions in the Discord now. If you want to join the Discord, DM Cam.
Yeah, DM me at Cam Del Rosario or at Gutter Boys Pod. There's a bunch of comics people and fans in the Discord. They chop it up about comics, post links to their stuff. So if you want a fun place to talk about comics, feel free to join. We also have a channel on there that allows you to ask us questions.
All right, so Carly Hack, they ask Minecraft versus Roblox, please.
Oh my gosh. Am I being asked this because I'm assuming?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. Because I don't play either of these games, so I have no say in it.
Yeah, I don't know what any of those things. I know Minecraft, but that's just because
it's like a pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
For all the other Zoomers that watch this podcast, I gotta say Minecraft.
Okay.
I don't know. Roblox is good though because if you can afford Red Dead Redemption, there's a ripoff on Roblox of it.
Dutch, there's another version of me that's gay.
So Roblox is like a designing.
Oh, okay.
It's like a thing where you make your own games or something.
Yeah, so like basically if you can't afford a new game that comes out, there's going to be someone who's going to rip it off and put it on Roblox and it'll be exactly the same thing, just shittier graphics. Yeah. And
Okay.
I mean, they build a bunch of other stuff on there, but whatever, it's for little kids. I'm not into that stuff.
Not like other kids.
Yeah, I'm not like other kids, man. No, Minecraft.
So next question came from a friend of the show, Frank. Frank asked, what inspired him to make his pages so dense with panels? It never feels clustered and unreadable compared to something like the Grand Design comics. Oh.
God, his ass. We had to fit one more in there.
Yeah, I it is true because those Grand Design books, I do have a hard time reading them.
Yeah.
Especially that Fantastic Four one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just like I said earlier, the whole anxiety about working too big. And I guess I guess I intuitively do a good job that it doesn't get too dense or something or too cluttered. And
I mean, your approach to layouts makes sense to me because of how much you reference old strips.
Yeah. I like to keep it nice and crisp and clear.
Yeah.
With just the square panels and whatever.
Right, it's pretty cut and dry and makes it super easy to read, even if you're packing in a ton of information.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't have the balls to just like do those crazy like weird layouts and stuff. Not yet, at least.
Right, yeah, you're not trying to compete with J.H. Williams or something.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Okay, Discord user Major_Tom95 asks, who is the best cheesecake artist and what original would you love to own?
Okay, the best cheesecake artist.
What is a cheesecake artist?
Okay,
somebody who draws cheesecakes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it means somebody who draws like big fat asses.
There you go.
Hell yeah. Okay.
I have a feeling that's what it is.
Okay, so who's your favorite cheesecake artist then?
I don't know. Maybe Eric Stanton, I guess. He draws some cool cheesecake. I don't know. I've never really thought about who draws the best ass. Maybe I should, but
Yeah, you're not playing like The Incredibles 1 and 2 in the background while you're drawing?
Yeah.
no,
Is this
I'm not.
because Diva has a badonkadonk on her?
Yeah,
Is that why you were
probably.
asked this?
Well, I mean, probably Eric Stanton. He draws some cool.
Hell yeah. I've never heard of Eric
Yeah.
Stanton. Is he like an erotics comic guy?
Yeah, he's an erotics comic guy.
Okay.
He worked with Steve Ditko and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Steve Ditko did a bunch of it's like bondage shit, but it's like really weird. But I don't know. He's a good artist.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So,
Yeah.
Wait, what about you, Cam? Who's your favorite cheesecake artist?
bro, I don't know. I wasn't even aware of the term. Probably the dude who puts the strawberry drizzle on him at Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, there you
That
go.
dude's pretty sick. Yeah.
Cheesecake Factory is awesome. We don't have that in Canada, and I miss it.
I would hate
Every
to
time
work there, man, because the menu is like 9 pages long and it's like every cuisine in the
yeah.
world. Like, it's cool for the consumer, but God, it must be hell in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. But yeah, Cheesecake Factory rocks.
Yeah, if you don't have your favorite cheesecake artist, I do.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's really known for being a cheesecake artist, but Ken Landgraf,
Oh,
he definitely
true.
does that.
He has a
quite
new
bit.
comic coming out. I just ordered it from my shop. I told him to get me a copy.
Hell yeah. And I actually have an original Ken Landgraf drawing too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I don't even need to wish for having one. I already have one.
Didn't Landgraf
I've
draw
got
Diva?
one too. Yes, yeah. I've got a Landgraf Diva drawing
Nice.
as well.
Awesome.
And it is full of cake.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cheesecake all over the place.
Actually,
Ken
I
rocks.
could say, I guess my favorite cheesecake artist, I mean, you could easily say like Gilbert Hernandez. He's always drawing fucking fat asses
yeah.
and big old titties.
That's true.
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
a type. That's for sure. We
Lopsided.
need to get Ken on the show, by the way.
If
How do we do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Jasper, you have a drawing of his. Can you get Ken for us?
I could maybe.
Hey.
That
I
would
just
be-
emailed him.
That would
I
be
mean-
awesome. I fucking love New York Outlaws, so just getting a chance to talk about that would be sick.
That would be really cool. He is definitely an extremely cool artist and a huge inspiration.
Did you
at
see
points.
the Fantagraphics comics he just did, JB?
I did not.
Yeah, they were pretty sick.
Is it on sale right now?
It was called All Time Comics. Josh Bear wrote them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I have. Sorry.
Yeah.
He was in that?
I think so. I think he did the second arc of it.
Okay, I thought he just did
That's
a
sick.
Maybe he did covers.
pin
Am I
up or
tripping?
something.
Yeah, I don't remember him
Hang
doing
on.
any like pages.
I want to say he did like the whole second arc.
Well, Cam, you've been on a lying spree on this episode, so
Yeah.
we'll take that with
Okay, he did the whole issue of Zerosis Deathscape. He did the whole issue of
Okay.
that one. So yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool comics.
They are for sure. Okay, so real quick, 2 last questions that we've already covered. David Caldwell asked, who are his inspirations and where did the idea for Dynamite Diva come from? We covered that. Milo Marinera asked, ask him what his parents think about Dynamite Diva, but ask respectfully.
We did that.
Yeah,
So,
we did that already.
yeah.
We
Don't
got
worry
ahead
about
of
it,
you.
Milo.
Yeah, but we don't want you all to feel left out. So thank you for writing us questions. Jasper, before we get out of here, where can people find you on social media? Plug your website, you know the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a website, which I need, but you can find me on Instagram, jasper.jubenvil. Should I spell out Jubenvill? It's kind of hard to spell.
If you
Or
want
is that,
to.
Is that too far?
Oh, you could spell it if you want.
Okay, Jubenvill. That's how
No
you'll find
E,
me.
because that's the other Jubenvilles.
Yeah. Stay away from
put some
the V's.
respect on that name.
Yeah, stay away from the Jubenvilles with the E's.
Can't be
We
trusted.
don't associate with them.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully Jasper will be taking care of us in 10 years when he's 30 and we're in the cartoonist old home.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's a retirement community.
But yeah, as always, we want to
The
thank you all for
Captain Teebs.
listening. I'm Cam Del Rosario. You can find me online at Cam Del Rosario. JB is online at Mort Crimp Jr. And we are on social media at Gutter Boys Pod.
Oh, we have a Patreon.
Oh,
Patreon.com/gutterboys.
And thank you guys for having me on here.
Of course, Jasper.
Hey, yeah. Thank you, Jasper.
Of course,
We'll
yeah.
have you back on for a bonus.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
for
have
sure.
you on eventually again.
When I have more to say about more comic people I don't
when you're,
like.
When you're the king of comics
No,
in about
no,
3
no.
years and you can look down at the peasants.
No.
Yeah, just lording over these little piss ants.
I will never forget the Gutter Gang.
Dynamite Diva pop-up
you.
shops in Tokyo, LA, and New York.
All right, guys, stay gutter.